From the Forum in Montreal, once again, it's Grand Prix Wrestling.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, j'ai le privilège de vous présenter le promoteur de la Lutte Grand Prix à Montréal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege for me to introduce to you tonight Grand Prix Wrestling promoter Paul Vachon. Paul Vachon has something to say to you. Paul Vachon aimerait vous dire quelques mots.
Merci beaucoup. J'aimerais faire un annoncement spécial. Mes chers amis, j'ai eu le plaisir, il y a 2 ou 3 jours, de signer un contrat pour le combat du siècle entre le géant Jean Ferré et Don Leo Jonathan. Un instant. Ici même au Forum, le 31 de mai. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the great pleasure to announce that a few days ago, I have signed the contract for the match of the century between Don Leo Jonathan and the giant Jean Ferré for the 31st of May. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, promoteur Paul Vachon. Merci beaucoup au promoteur Paul Vachon. Voilà un combat qu'on attendait depuis longtemps. Le combat du siècle entre Jean Ferré et Don Leo Jonathan. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, la grande finale de la soirée pour le championnat du monde des poids lourds. 2 chutes de 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the main event for the World's Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. 2 out of 3 falls. Tout d'abord, first from Montreal, weighing 238 pounds, de Montréal à 238 livres, l'aspirant, the challenger, Maurice Mad Dog Vachon. Et son adversaire ce soir, his opponent tonight, de France, à 228 livres, from France weighing 228 pounds, now a Canadian citizen, maintenant citoyen canadien, the world's champion, le champion du monde. Everybody knows him, tout le monde le connaît, Étoile Carpentier. L'arbitre, the referee, Omer Marchessault.
All right, well, this is it. This is the match for the Heavyweight Wrestling Championship of the world, currently held by Edouard Carpentier, being challenged here by Maurice Vachon. And this is Jack Kern, along with Ray Boucher. We're sitting at ringside, and once again, we have Eric Pomeroy with us from Newfoundland, sitting in on the action as well. And this really should be some kind of a bout.
It should be something because Maurice Mad Dog is really in a mood to win a championship. He knows all the tricks. He's very, very skillful, and he doesn't stop at anything. Eric, he's a pretty tough wrestler.
Well, I'll say this. I wrestled Mad Dog with Sean. There he goes. See how he goes? He'll take advantage of anything. This is why he was the world's champion, and he wants it back. He don't care what he's got to do to win it, believe me.
Well, I'll tell you something right now that Edouard Carpentier, the champion...
Hey, there's a pile driver. Now, that hole is barred in many, many different parts of the... Hey.
There it is, the first fall. The first fall by 25 seconds. Maurice Mad Dog Vachon is the winner in 25 seconds of the first fall. And we have... Ray, you have something to say about Edouard's arm.
Edouard Carpentier is wrestling with a very, very bad elbow. He's got chip bones on it and torn muscles. That's not an excuse because he's a world's greatest wrestler. He didn't want me to emphasize it, but I think people should know, look at him holding it now, that all his muscles are torn in that arm.
Well,
it just shows his courage.
He's full of medication, I'll tell you that, too,
That's right.
because we saw that earlier on. But we'll take time out for a message, and then we'll come back for the second fall.
Pound for pound, it ain't a tougher man that I've ever met in my life than that man.
Well, Eric, what were you saying? Say it for the TV audience.
I'll say it in front of TV. I'd say this. I wrestled all over the world. I'm very happy to say I'm from Newfoundland, and I wrestled all over the world. And I said, while we were off for the air to you, pound for pound, there ain't a tougher man in the wrestling profession or any other profession than Mad Dog Vachon.
You know,
I gotta
I've
say
heard that.
It really is the truth.
Eric, I've heard that from a lot of people, that he's the toughest man that ever walked into a ring or an alley.
See, here he goes again. Oh, well, very good. Very good, Edouard.
Well, Edouard Carpentier is not going to be caught unaware this time. He's moving fast now. There's the flip off the ropes.
This is why Edouard Carpentier is the world's champion, you see.
There's the savate, and the flip and the slam. And another somersault and the slam. And another one.
Very good.
1, 2, and 3.
There's a surprise. There's a surprise to Mad Dog Vachon. Isn't he a crowd pleaser? Listen to them people roar and scream.
Wow, this action is fast and furious.
Everybody at the forum here is happy to see that, and I'm sure all the wrestling fans at their home are happy to see it as well.
Jack, did you get the time on that? It must be 2 falls within a minute.
I was just going to say, we haven't had a full minute of wrestling yet, and we've got 2 falls over with. The winner of the first one, Mad Dog Vachon. The winner of the second, the world's champion, Edouard Carpentier. We'll take time out very quickly for a message and be back with the third and deciding fall. Well, we're back with fall number 3, and there's going to be a winner after this one, of course, and it's a World's Heavyweight Championship bout that you're seeing on Grand Prix Wrestling.
And Carpentier is obviously working with just one arm. He's just
that arm is swollen. You can see the swelling in the elbow.
See it in his hands.
It's actually deformed.
He's really favoring that shoulder and arm. There's no doubt in it. And I know what it's like to wrestle with an injury. But when you're the world's champion, you know, you can't go sidestepping anybody. You've got to go. And believe me, Mad Dog Vachon will take advantage of every sore spot in Edouard Carpentier's body to win back the world's champion.
He gets right into a chokehold very quickly with that claw. It looks like he may plan on working on that area for a while.
Did you hear that chop there?
Oh, you can hear them way over here.
He is whacking him.
Well, he doesn't need the left arm as long as he can use those feet. Gets him with the kick off the ropes.
Here's Mad Dog Vachon back in the ring, begging for mercy.
This is a trick that Maurice uses a lot to try to get his second win.
Very much so.
I don't think Edouard Carpentier let him have any mercy, though. As you said earlier, we've only been wrestling for a minute, and we've got 2 falls over with already. There goes to show you the caliber of wrestling that's on Grand Prix.
He gets him into a bear hug now, and that's a pair of strong arms there. Here's a man who's wrestled for his country in the British Empire Games, and he's a gold medal winner. And he knows every trick there is in the trade, and he's called by most people who face him the toughest man they've ever faced, Mad Dog Vachon.
And he is a real pro. He goes right to work.
You've got to give credit where credit is due. Any man that goes to the Olympics to represent Canada and come back and turn professional has got to be good, or he wouldn't be going to the Olympics.
See, even that, just what he did there, hurt Carpentier's arm. He's favoring it again. He had to give him a push to get away. And it was nothing more than a push.
I would love to see a match like this go to St. John's, Newfoundland. I know everybody in Newfoundland would be happy to see it.
He's got Carpentier down now. Pretty good leg hold on him.
Look at the concentration on Vachon's face all the time.
Oh, he means business every minute he's in the ring.
Well, you know, everybody's going in the professional wrestling business is out for one thing, to become number one. Number one means world's champion.
And we're going to see that possibly May the 31st in the Battle of the Century, when two great wrestlers meet. The giant John Ferry and Don Leo Jonathan. I want to be there.
Wow, he's got him in the cross-legged scissors on the head hold. He's standing right on his head now, and here comes the twist. Wow, look at that takedown. Over he goes. And a twist again.
I think he's got Mad Dog's neck snapped there a little bit. Mad Dog is backing off for mercy anyway. Of course, you've got to be careful. You can't trust that Mad Dog.
Got to be careful, that's right.
Don't trust him. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves.
You'll notice that there hasn't, Edouard hasn't thrown one punch with the left hand at all.
No.
Matter of fact, it's, I know we said we wouldn't emphasize it or mention it too much, but it's looking at it, it's hard to believe the man is in the ring defending his world championship.
That's why he's a world champion. And he did ask me not to overemphasize, but I thought
look what he's doing with Maurice. He's saying, go ahead, hit me, go ahead.
You see what Edouard does? I think Edouard's kind of psyched himself out like a mental telepathy type of deal against Mad Dog Vachon, where Mad Dog is hitting with everything he's got and still not knocking him down.
Nope.
That's that deep concentration to take the pain off his shoulder, I'm sure.
Oh, 2 fingers right in the eye.
Just
what he
vicious.
did.
And the referee has to work very hard with Mad Dog Vachon.
He gave it right back to him.
The tables turned. Edouard getting some of his own medicine right there.
Wow, right up into the top ropes. And a kick to the small of the back. And he's bouncing around like a rubber ball.
And Mad Dog Vachon can take it, though. There's no doubt in it. Come on, Edouard.
He's got him by the ears. But you never relax for 1 minute with Maurice Vachon.
Nope. You can't give him a chance, not a minute. He'll take advantage of anything to win this match, believe me.
He just raked his fingernails all the way down Edouard Carpentier's back. 5 minutes have gone by, and that's more wrestling than we've had in the first 2 falls by some 4 minutes.
That's right.
But fall number 3 is not going to be that rapidly decided. There's a body slam, and they both go down.
Oh, Carpentier took one on that bad arm.
Mad Dog could get up and just lay on him and cover him here. You never could.
They're both down.
Come on, Edouard, get up out of there. Come on, Eddie.
Maurice is on his feet, and he goes down again.
Come on, Edouard.
Well, I'll tell you, Edouard isn't using that hand to help him off the canvas at all. Now he's on his feet, and so is Maurice, and he gives him the salute. And a shot to the head, and a chop, and another chop, and an elbow from Maurice coming off the rope. 1, 2, and he flips him off.
Just about, Jack.
That's the 2 count. It'll only take another second to have the
Picks
third
him
one.
up now for, and he flips him off. He was going to give him either the backbreaker, which is practically his trademark, or the body slam, and the weight just was too much for him, and over he went backwards.
And knocked him on, Simbar. Look at that.
Well, there was
Give him a headbutt and hurt himself.
A headbutt that backfired, and then he got out of the way as Edouard tried to give him that flip and slam.
Here goes the pile driver.
Here's the pile driver.
He gets that.
Over he goes the other way. Hey! Edouard Carpentier has successfully defended his world heavyweight title against Maurice Mad Dog Vachon. He retains the belt.
Mad Dog is saying he had his feet on the ropes. I don't know if he did or not. Did you see it?
A one-arm champion, but still champion. Edouard Carpentier.
Man of great courage, Jack. Great courage.
A good match, a couple of fast victories, and then A real piece of work by Edouard Carpentier. Thank you very much, Eric, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having
We'll
me
be looking
here.
forward to having you in the ring on Grand Prix Wrestling.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
Right, thank
Eric.
you, Ray.
It's been nice having you.
The late Yvan Robert Sr. has just been elected to the by the Wrestling Writers Association of America to the Wrestling Hall of Fame. We think it more than fitting that recognition of this commemoration be made here in the building where Yvan Robert Sr. appeared so many, many times before so many thousands of Montreal wrestling fans. And so, in honor of that occasion, to present the plaque commemorating his election to the Wrestling Hall of Fame, we have his son, Yvan Robert Jr., well known on the wrestling circuit now and following in his father's footsteps, and his daughter, Madame Leona Spada. And flying in from New York for this occasion is the president of the Wrestling Writers Association of America and the chief editor of Wrestling Review and Wrestling Monthly, Mr. Norman Keatzer, who will present a plaque to the Robert family. Norman?
Nous avons Bob Lortie, l'ancien lutteur. Larry Moquin. Robert Bob Clearou. Mike Dimitri. Tony Lenza. Mesdames et messieurs, Tony Lenza, là, qui a entraîné Yvan Robert, bien souvent, fameux photographe de la lutte. Jim Cawley, 83 ans, et il est toujours là, Jim. Nice to see you again. Lucien Grégoire, mesdames, messieurs. Lucien Grégoire, promoteur de lutte des années 30. Hey, des années 30.
I think also it is fitting to note at this time the two wrestlers in the ring. This is not a formal introduction for their match.
Italian tag team. I guess it's all right if I call you an Italian tag team. We haven't seen you. Let me introduce you to the television audience as far as Grand Prix Wrestling is concerned. This, of course, is Gino Brito. And he's got a chest on him that must give his tailors a lot of problems.
Well, yes, but I mean, you need it in this business. You
Well,
gotta be big, especially I'm not too tall, so you need the weight, the size, because you've always got big men to wrestle, men like the Vachons, Jonathan, Kowalski.
And those pesky Hornets that
and
you're
the
going to face
Hornets,
Tuesday.
right. Those are the guys we're going to face Tuesday. As you know, I've never been on TV on Channel 12, but we have been undefeated in Verdun and throughout the province since we've teamed up. And that's the way we intend to keep it, undefeated, because we want to shoot right to the top.
Well, how do you feel about your new partner here, Dino Bravo? He's certainly been on our TV show plenty. It must be a great pleasure for you to wrestle with him. He's a scientific wrestler, a good, clean boy, and he really knows his way around the ring.
Yes, well, I was talking even with Edouard Carpentier, and for being only a year and a half in the wrestling game, he's come along very well, and he's only got one way to go, and that's to get better, because he's only 24 years old. And I figure that as long as we keep working the way we are together, we've got to make it to the top, and that's what we're aiming for.
Well, Dino, we let him do all the talking because it's his television debut with us, but I'm sure you're excited about Tuesday, too.
Well, I'd like to say this, Jack. People haven't seen us together yet, but we've been working out together for over 6 years now, and it was my first ambition to team up with Gino, so we'll make good, I'm sure.
All right, good luck to you on Tuesday, then, against the Hornets in
Thank you.
Verdun. Right. That's Dino Bravo and Gino Brito,
Well,
and
you get some of these little midgets over here, and all of a sudden become big baggers of wind. They want to keep on talking and talking. You know, here's a man, Don Leo Jonathan, and myself, Killer Kowalski. I've wrestled Don Leo. That's some of the toughest matches I've ever had. In fact, I barely escaped with my life in a ring against him. He can almost say this actually the same thing about myself. And here we are, two of the toughest men you can find anywhere, tagged up as partners. And here we just had a few moments ago, a team unbeatable. You haven't met Don Leo Jonathan and Killer Kowalski if you say you're unbeatable, because the two of us can squash you just like a ripe tomato. And that's exactly what we're going to do to Edouard Carpentier and the Giant. In fact, the Giants are going to be a great, big, ripe tomato that we could squash in our hand. You got big hands, Giant. You take a look at a hand like this. That's a big hand, too. This is no midget's hand either. But we have the rest to go with. We have brains. We have a body to go along with that. Giant. And you, Edouard Carpentier, you have taken on more than you can handle. Oh, not taken away from you. You guys are good. You're a good team. I have found that out when I've wrestled you previously. But we're just that much better than the two of you. And that only takes that much to make a mountain, because this much can be that much. Edouard Carpentier, with you, wrestling is only a hobby. You're a rich man. You got property all over the world. You have big property in France. So it's only a hobby with you. John, Neil, Jonathan, and I, it's a living. We make money for one reason only, so we can put food in our stomach, so we can put clothes on our back, and that's why when we step in the ring against you guys, you're going to go down in defeat and get carried out in a coffin.
That's Don Leo, Jonathan, thank you.
Yes, and I like hurting people myself.
I've noticed. Thank you. Killer Kowalski and Don Leo Jonathan, in case they needed an introduction, they didn't give them. But here are the gentlemen that they're talking about, of course, Edouard Carpentier and Jean Ferret. Welcome. Come on forward a little bit here so we can have a good look at you. Tuesday, you're going to have your hands full, Edouard.
Oh, yes. You know, it's one thing I can understand from Wladek Kowalski. Before, he's got this MacDoc Vachon, you know, the Samsai and me. And now he switch. He take the big guy for the team. I can understand why.
Well, I can, looking at your partner there.
Yes. You know, I think he switched to take this big guy, Don Leo Jonathan, because he's big too, you know. I think, you know, see the match, what happened the last time in the Forum. This is a couple of weeks ago.
No, unfortunately, we had to miss that.
For the first time, Kowalski is beat. Somebody beat Kowalski, and this is the giant. And I think for next week in Vernon, you have to take somebody better than him, Don Leo Jonathan.
I see. So
I see this like that, you know.
We missed the last time at the Forum, unfortunately, but the giant must have been pleased with the results. Ask him in French.
You know, for the first time, he's got dance. You know, he beat somebody for the first time.
But it's not the first time.
Yes, that's the first time.
The giant?
Yes.
He
for
beat...
the first time, you know, he don't lose the head. Every time, you know, when he's in the ring, he lose something, you know.
Oh,
Everybody
yes,
has to
yes, I know what
jump
you're
in the
talking
ring
about.
and try to take him over, you know.
Well, I'm not going
for the
to, I'll
first
tell
time,
you that.
I stayed
It was a clean win, and that was
win,
it.
you know, he just beat Kowalski.
Okay, well, gentlemen, good luck on Tuesday night at the Verdun Auditorium when they face Killer Kowalski and Don Leo Jonathan. Well, if I didn't know better, I'd think there'd been some dirty work at the Crossroads. Next Tuesday night in Verdun, Tarzan, you're going to get a shot at that belt, right?
We finally got him where we want him. Did you see that? The brain. Not only beautiful, but the brain too. I told him, first of all, we're going to outsmart you one way or the other, and we did it. Now we got you in the ring, Italians. And you said another thing here that's making me laugh too, is when you said about the blood, that you had plenty of blood. You know, when we get through with you, the only thing that's coming out of you is going to be spaghetti sauce, Italian. Nothing else but that, because you know very well the lesson that I gave you myself about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And now, poor Italians. How are we going to look with the belt?
Well, listen, you've had the belt with another partner before.
Well,
you want it back, don't you?
The belt fit me better than the Italians. I think I want the belt back. That's going to be easy. That's going to be easy. We're ready.
Now, wait a minute, though. They're a good team. I mean, they got that belt, and they're a
Well,
good
listen,
team.
they're the champion. They're a good team. But the only reason that they're the champions because they never got in the ring with Tyler and Poisson. That's the only reason.
I'm not agreeing with you, Tarzan, there. Because I had the belt with Killer Kowalski, and that's not the Italian beat us.
Sure.
You didn't know that, right?
I didn't know that.
We didn't get beat.
Wait a minute.
But they stole the belt.
Wait a
So
minute.
never forget that.
Wait a minute.
Right?
Now,
You
listen,
know,
Well, if we're going to
Tarzan,
stand
you know,
there,
I
if we're
am a
going to
little
stand
bit
there and
better
you're
than
going to
you.
compare me to
Right?
Kowalski,
Right?
well, I'm going to tell you something. We're
don't
going to
get
beat
wrong,
him.
right?
We're going to
Right.
beat him. I'm telling you this. So let's not start
I
arguing
think
here
it's
and
not
now.
a little bit
We'll
behind,
argue
right?
after the match. If we get beat, then
No,
we'll
right.
have a reason
The
to
Italian
argue.
never
But let's
get-
not start arguing
never
here.
beat-
We
never
got to go
beat
out
me,
there
never
and
beat
beat him. That's
Kowalski.
what we're going to do.
Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, le premier combat. Ladies and gentlemen, the first match. One fall with a 10-minute time limit. Une chute limitée à 10 minutes. First, en premier lieu, du lac Saint-Jean dans le Québec, from Lake St. John, Quebec, weighing 273 pounds à 273 livres. Here he is, le voici, Gilles de Fiche-Poisson. Et son adversaire, and his opponent today, from Italy, d'Italie à 230 livres, weighing 230 pounds. Il est là, there he is, Dino Bravo! And the referee, l'arbitre, Luigi Marcella.
Well, here we are at ringside once again. Jack Britton is here with me and Emile Dupré. And I was just thinking, Jack, before I get to talk to Emile, what with championship match coming up next week in Verdun between Dino and Gino against Gilles the Fish Poisson and Tarzan Tyler, I'm just wondering if Dino isn't making a mistake in taking on this TV match.
Well, actually, I don't think it's Dino's fault. It's the promoters who have matched him on the air, you know, on TV. Of course, I think this is a prelude, and it should be good for Dino. It'll make him study his opponent, and maybe it'll be easier for the Italian connection to defeat Poisson and Tyler.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. In the meantime, Emile, I know you got a match coming up after this one on the show, so you're going to be busy from there on. But I did want to thank you for coming back this week. And I want you to fill us in on the situation in the Maritimes. I was supposed to get down there last summer, and unfortunately, I just couldn't make it. But I hear you had a great season.
Yes, it was. We had all the big stars of Grand Prix, Edouard Carpentier, Don Leo Jonathan, and a whole score of others that showed up in the Maritimes. I would like to say right now that the Italians, Bravo and Brito, they will be making an appearance in the Maritime in the very near future, in the spring. And also Tarzan Tyler is supposed to be making an appearance, and a whole bunch of others. Don Leo Jonathan is supposed to come back to the Maritimes, and also a very popular Sweet Daddy Siki and the whole score of others.
Well, I understand that that's Don Leo Jonathan's favorite part of the country anyway, or it seems to be.
Yes, he has been coming to the Maritime, and I think he enjoys it very much. And naturally, wherever he appears, there's full to the capacity. And the same thing like Edouard Carpentier, very, very popular in the Maritimes. And they love Grand Prix wrestling because it is, in itself, one of the greatest wrestling program that I ever seen.
Listen, Emile, I don't want to, I wouldn't, get too personal on the air, but I have a personal question for you. I'm not going to ask you your age or anything, but I happen to know that, and I mentioned this last week when we were discussing how long you've been around. You were just a kid of around 17 or so when you first made the big time in Montreal in the old days at the Forum. But I understand you wrestled Bobby Manigault in his very last professional bout.
That's right, that's correct. Bobby Manigault, in my book, was one of the greatest wrestlers. One-time world's champion. And in Indianapolis, Indiana, I wrestled Bobby Manigault, and he injured his knee. And at that time, he never wrestled after that because it was a dislocated knee, and it never did get any better.
Well, I think something's about to happen over here. Luigi Marchera has just been knocked out, and young Dino Bravo had Gilles the Fish Poisson in the airplane spin, and I thought he might have him on that, but I'm afraid that something happened over in that corner, and Gilles the Fish Poisson, I don't know whether Tarzan Tyler interfered or not, but anyway, Gilles the Fish Poisson ends up the winner, and thank you, Emile. Good luck in your bout coming up.
Thank you very much.
Well, March the 11th is a big night in the world of wrestling at the Forum here in Montreal. Rougeau goes against Don Leo Jonathan. It is not a title match, but somebody is going to have a crack at taking your title away, and they say that pound for pound, Rougeau is the man who eventually could challenge you for it.
Yes, that's true, Ron, and he is tough. The last match he did prove to be tough, but I tried to come out and fight him in his own way. I tried his way, his back street brawls in the alley, the type of fighting. I tried to just go in and match you punch for punch, and I would like to say this, he is very strong, and he takes a lot of punishment. So I think that what I'll have to do is just wrestle him and give him a good wrestling match, give him a good wrestling lesson. And as you know, Ron, this match is going to start at 9:30, so there will be no way that he can slip out under the curfew like he did last time.
Yes, because in your first set, too, it went to curfew time, and that was the end of the match, period.
Yes, that was the end of the match, but he wanted a rematch. He thinks he can beat me, and I just signed an open contract. Anything that he wants, I would be glad to oblige him. After all, I am the world's champion, and I back down from no one. I'll take them all, but I give no quarter, nor do I ask any, Ron.
One thing to remember with a few seconds left is, with your vast experience, you are known in the trade as one of the most adaptable types. If a fellow wants it scientific, he's going to get it fast. He's going to seal out of your spring-ups and a few things. But if he wants it tough, you've got 305 pounds to throw at him.
And I'll throw every one at him, too, Ron.
Don Leo Jonathan, thank you very much. And it's going to be some match with Rougeau and Big Don Leo on the 11th at the Forum. I would suggest get your tickets nice and early.
I would, too.
Of course, that's Don Leo Jonathan at his training camp out in Vancouver talking with Ron Morier. But don't worry, he'll be here in Montreal on March the 11th for that big title fight with Jacques Rougeau. A photograph from February the 12th at the Montreal Forum. And Eddie Creechman, while I have a chance to say a word or two here, it would seem to me that from the position of Jacques Rougeau and the position of Don Leo Jonathan in that picture behind us, that it wasn't all Jacques Rougeau's
I think
way
you're an
before
instigator. I think you're an instigator from Grand Prix Wrestling.
No,
I think you're like the rest of them. I just feel like blowing you down, too. Now, listen, I got something to tell you and everybody else here that's watching me right now. I'm the greatest manager of them all. This was a frame-up from Grand Prix. Jacques Rougeau had the best of this Jonathan, but I'm not interested in that match. What interests me is your Frenchman, your big idol, Edouard Carpentier, who is going to wrestle my Sheik, the real man in wrestling, the noble Sheik. He will tear you apart, Carpentier. He will tear you into little shreds. I have opened the stable of all my doors. Everybody is coming in from me. Pampero Frippo, Killer Brooks, Torquemada, name them. I got a big stable of them all. Now, Grand Prix wrestlers, you must be happy. You must be very happy that you're going to wrestle big, popular names. Not just thinking of little fish, Poisson, whatever you call him. He's just a fish. Tarzan Boot Tyler, that other jerk, whatever you want to call him. Now you're going to wrestle men. You open up wrestling magazines and you read of the greatest wrestlers of them all. They're coming to you March the 11th in the Montreal Forum. But Carpentier, you got the biggest one. And you got the little weasel right here that you got to watch, because I got something up my sleeve that's going to send you on a big trip all the way back where you come from. March the 11th, the Montreal Forum. Don't forget it. I need money. Be there. I'm waiting.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames, mesdemoiselles, messieurs, le troisième combat, the third match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit, une chute limitée à 10 minutes. First, en premier lieu, from parts unknown, adresse inconnue, à 243 livres, weighing 243 pounds, the Destroyer is son adversaire. His opponent today, from Montreal, de Montréal, à 228 livres, weighing 228 pounds. Everybody knows him, tout le monde le connaît, Edouard Carpentier. And the referee, l'arbitre, Luigi Marcella.
Well, I don't know whether we get this sorted out yet or not, but somehow or other it's just seemed to have been madness from beginning to end here. This on the surface would seem to be a bit of a mismatch with the Destroyer in there against Edouard Carpentier. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I did want to clear one thing up, since there was so much blood in the ring a while ago, and I'm sure you didn't like to see that, particularly since you're kind of closely connected with Gino Brito Jack. But I did want to clear up one thing. We mentioned the Grand Prix Blood Donor Clinic. It's a big one next Thursday.
That's right, and it will take place in the gym of Grand Prix, which is situated on Berry Street, right opposite the bus terminal.
Just go down to the Show Mart next Thursday, the 7th of March, and all the Grand Prix wrestlers will be there. It'll be a big, big blood donor clinic for the Red Cross. And it'll be a chance for you to get to meet all the wrestlers and at the same time give the gift of life.
That's right, because all wrestlers all give blood, especially like even my son Gino, Dino, they got the Red Cross on them because, you know, they're donors, quite regular of blood.
Well, let's see. The Destroyer seems to be handling himself all right so far, kicking away and pounding away at Edouard Carpentier, but I was just about to say we've seen Edouard turn the tables before, and he did. Here we go. Watch the somersault.
Edouard Carpentier is a polished wrestler. He knows all the moves. He's got a lot of stamina, and I don't believe that Destroyer is a match, really, for Carpentier. Of course, they only got a 10-minute bout. It might not be enough.
One,
oh my God.
And he's got him. Now he says he's going to take off the mask.
Victory for Edouard!
He's got it. He's got it. And look who's there. Frenchie Martin.
Frenchie Martin!
Frenchie Martin.
Frenchie Martin! Right.
Who would have believed it?
Frenchie Martin!
I think in all the years I've seen wrestling, I've never seen a wrestler unmasked before.
And not this past. He really had his heart set on it to find out who the Destroyer was. Well,
Frenchie Martin.
Il passe. Il succès. Il passe de la marquer. Tu peux y dire.
Well, I have to apologize to you wrestling fans. Last week on this program, I said that Gilles de Fiche-Poisson and Tarzan Tyler would be wrestling the Italian connection, Gino Brito and Dino Bravo, last week at Verdun. Now, it didn't happen. What happened,
Well,
Gino?
unfortunately for us, Carpentier asked us if we'd forfeit that match because he and Yvon Robert wanted to take him on. We said, go ahead. Maybe you'll soften him up a little. But now, Tyler, you've been screaming and bragging what you're going to do to the Italians. There's your chance to prove it. Remember what we did about 3 weeks ago against you and the UFO? We had you all over the place. We beat you in 2 straight falls. So we are doing you a favor by giving you a chance at that belt.
Yeah, let's talk about that belt. They said that you guys would not put it up, that you were afraid of them, that there's no way you'd put the belt up. But you're going to let them have a shot at the belt, aren't you, Dino?
Listen, they tried out with UFO. It didn't work out. Poisson had to interfere. Now he chose his own partner, and we'll put the belt on the line anytime against this team.
Now, look, no matter what you think of them as men or anything else, that's quite a wrestling team.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Jack. We don't take nobody lightly. We're not going to take a guy like the Fiche-Poisson that can pick up 500 pounds like I'll pick up 10 pounds, and a man with the experience of Tyler. We're not in there with kids. We're going to have to fight hard, but since we've had that belt, we promised the people we would fight to the end. And we're going to keep that belt because we don't want to give it up right away because now the money's coming in, and we like money too. Let's face it. We're in pro sports to make money, and Tyler, I don't care how much blood you can get out of us, we'll fight till the last drop comes out.
Well, there's only one place to be in sports, and that's on the top, isn't it?
That's right. That's on the top, and that's where we want to stay.
Well,
right now we're in our prime, and we're going to stay there maybe, who knows, 2, 3 years, but we want to stay there, and it's not a man like Tyler or Poisson that's going to scare us. I know we're going to have our hands full, but like I said before, we're going to fight and come and get the belt if you can.
Next Tuesday night in Verdun. Two Rivers, and the last time I talked with you, Billy, we got talking about the impact you have over in Britain, how you seem to be very much in demand over there, and I think rightly so. I mean, I disregarded one very important point, and I didn't mean to do that deliberately. First of all, I'm sure they like you because of your very fine professional wrestling style.
Well, yes, I think they've never seen an Indian wrestling over there, and I think a lot of them come out there out of curiosity, and you'll find that the parents bring their children out to come and see an Indian because they don't really have a chance to see an Indian in person, you know. And when I do meet them, like naturally you meet your public after you've wrestled or before you go in to wrestle, they're full of questions, and consequently they're very curious, and it's interesting for me to go over there to learn about the English people, and the English people learn a little bit about Indians.
Now, last time you mentioned something about how they thought you'd probably be living on the plains and in tents and so on. What are some of the other things that they're curious about?
Well, they're curious about our language. You know, they want to know our language, and if we still speak Indian, and naturally we do. There are various dialects. You know, there's over 300 Indian dialects. and they want to know about our traditions and our dances, and if we still maintain it, or if we're still Indians as Indians live. Well, I tell them no. We live in houses, and we have central heating, drive cars, but we still maintain our culture, and they're very, very interested in this line.
Do you actually speak some Indian for them?
Well, if they ask me, they usually ask me to say a couple of words, and naturally I respond and tell them to give them a few basic words.
Because up till then, all they've ever heard is somebody saying, "When sun come over horizon," and white man speak with forked tongue and that sort of thing. Thank you very much, Billy Two Rivers.